Okay guys, happy Friday. Before I get into the video on the digital dash in a 389, and I'm going to talk more about gauges. I've already done how this dash function and everything works, but at the end of this video, I am going to put a link to a video that explains our chip shortages and the reason why we're having so many delays on getting our trucks built. And this is through any manufacturer. It don't matter if it's GM, Ford, Peterbilt, Kenworth, or anybody else, okay? So at the end of this video, there is a link there. It's a 6-minute video. It's extremely informative. It actually educated me quite a bit on what exactly is happening and hopefully what the remedy is going to be to the situation. But it is not a short-term problem. It is going to be a little bit of a longer-term problem. So just bear with us, guys. Of course, everybody's out there trying to figure out a way to get around it. But so here we go. Let's talk about the new digital dash in the 389s. Okay, and I know that there's some people who have some opinions about that, and that's fine. But what I want to do is I want to talk to you guys about the B panel and the different ways that we can set the new B panel up for you. Okay, so understanding this the digital gauge cluster is here to stay. It's not going to go anywhere. Even your old dash has computer chips in it, so this dash is not to blame for the computer chip shortages or anything else. I just want to make sure that we're clear about that. So for example, in this truck, now the way that the B panel set up, in the old truck, you could remember that you had 4 to 8 switches that would come vertically like that. Okay, so now all your electric over air switches are here, and they have the protection and everything around them. So they are going to be a little bit more uniform. Now, what you can see here is you have to order them in clusters of 4. Even if you order only 1 or 2 electric over air switches, you're going to get dummies that come in here if you don't order switches to fill those slots. Okay, so in this example, on this truck, we got a B panel that has 12 gauges, as you can see here. And then we have up to 8. Now, if you want, we can do 16 gauges. And if you do 16 gauges, you're only allowed to have 4 electric over air switches, which would eliminate all of these. It would give you an additional 4 gauges over here on the right side, totaling 16. So now I've built a couple trucks now, even with the navigation in here. The navigation screen is going to occupy 6 gauges. But now I'm capable of doing up to 10 physical gauges around that, as opposed to the old truck where you can only do 9. Okay, so now we can do 10 gauges, which is kind of nice around the navigation screen. Now, the setup that I'm actually preferring is there's a new setup that we can do where we actually do 12 switches. So you'll have additional switches that you could utilize for anything you want, but typically what we have to do to fill those up, we're going to have belly dump switches, Berg switches, and everything. So if you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to have 3 of these clusters of 4, and they're going to go across the bottom. And the really cool part about that is you're going to be able to have 12 gauges all the way across the top, all the way over to your cigarette lighter and your vent. Okay, so I think in the renderings that it looks really clean and really cool. And with the new digital dash, there's a lot of redundancies. So you're going to have gauges over on this side, and then you're also going to have lots of gauges over here. And so you're going to be able to put different settings, and I've already done a video on this, but you can actually change these and interact differently with these based off of where you're going and what you're doing. Okay. You can even change this one down here. These ones are set, they're going to stay. Then you can do your RPM and everything here. You can change all this, and then you can change this one down here, and then you can change up to 5 over on this right side. Okay, and you can also do lots of other things like scrolling, quick menus to go back to other things. And so the setup on this is really nice. But let's say, for example, you're running in the mountains of Colorado and you want to have your axle temp gauges or something over here. You can set them up wherever you want on either side, or you can rely on your old analog gauges. Okay, Now, one of the other things that I've had as far as comments on my prior video, and we've had quite a lot of views on it, and a lot of good feedback, and a lot of constructive feedback, and a lot of non-constructive feedback, is, you know, what people call me and ask me about this truck is they always refer to the Smart Wheel. And I know which manufacturer you're talking about. And the thing that I get from those guys that were talking about the Smart Wheel is that there was Jake brake controls in here, and they constantly failed, and a lot of the buttons in this system constantly failed. I don't know how reliable these are because we don't have any on the road yet, so the jury's still out on that. Okay, I'm not going to sit there and try to tell anybody that these are going to be the best thing ever. What I will tell you though is that I think we're all out there driving pickups with new digital gauges in them and buttons and switches in the steering wheel, and we're all still alive to talk about it, okay? But your Jake brake controls are going to be right here now, okay? So there's still going to be a manual Jake brake control, okay? So you can see 1, 2, 3. So that's off, that's on, okay? The other benefit to this is there are a lot of people who are going to the automated manuals, whether they got hip issues, knee issues, they're a newer driver that just don't want to use a clutch. Whatever your reasoning is this is going to be going completely away, and all your controls for your drive are going to be up here where you do your forward and reverse and everything. So if you like a flat top or a 389, then you will be able to go ahead and get into the bunk a little bit easier, and you won't have all this in your way anymore, okay? And for those of you who are buying 389s already with the automated transmissions, again, you don't have that tower. The tower actually takes up 2/3 of that space, which makes it even harder to get into the back. All right, so real quick here, just a close-up of all the buttons. And this is the button you use to just scroll up and down. You hit enter to lock it in. You can change all sorts of different things. Okay, of course you got your phone button, your source button for your radio, all your other stuff. This is your exit button or your back button for your screen, and this is your quick menu button, so that you can go back. You can set it up to what screens you like the best and do different things. And then of course you got your cruise control. So anyways, hey guys, don't forget to watch this little 6-minute video at the end of this. Constructive feedback is always appreciated. If there's any profanity or anything, I just take it off. I don't deal with that. So I get that some people are frustrated about all this, but there are some nice redundancies. And the one thing that a lot of people don't realize is even the old gauge cluster in 389s, where this was supposedly analog, those are all driven by computer just the same. I mean, the architecture is a little bit different, but the whole concept is almost identical to what's going on here. So I don't want you guys to be too afraid of this, and just give it a chance. Let's see what happens. And I hope you guys are all being safe out there. We hope our chip shortage gets better, and we'll talk to you all soon. Have a great weekend.